Abilash, welcome to this second season of Ganatantra series where we are covering
Thank
the
you.
elections. And congratulations for nominating yourself for the council,
Thank you.
council election itself. And
Thank
we
you.
wish you a very productive election.
Thank you.
So why don't you introduce yourself first, and then we'll move
So,
on to the
hi,
next section.
I'm Abilash. I'm a fifth year student, and I'm Abilash without a H, Abilash, so that you don't vote for the other Abilash. He's in the third year, I'm in the fifth year, so I hope you remember that. I have been very closely associated with the council, even though I was not part of the council last year, because I was there right through the process when they framed the constitution, and like till right now. And right now, I'm contesting the elections. So I have a good history with the council. I was there in the first ever meeting they kept to draft the council, and we did put up a set of questions and a set of suggestions at that point, and then when the council got passed, it took about a year for that to get passed and come out, and then when that constitution was passed, we again had a set of issues with that constitution, and we tried to put that forward, but then the council was formed with that constitution, just as an incremental step, so that something is done towards easing connection between student and admin. And unfortunately, I could not participate in that because I did not fall within the criteria for standing election. My academics was pretty bad back then. I was gone pretty well, so it's been a good year. And this year, I want to stand because that last year there was a very good plan to stand and sort of things to achieve. This year, pandemic, everything has changed everything. But still, I want to stand because I want to create a model council that will serve as a template for the further councils to take up. Because first council, the progress of the first council was hit pretty bad because of the pandemic and many other factors, and they were totally unprepared. I mean, we were unprepared to live at that point, so let alone the council. But this time, I think we should begin to create a template council that will serve as a an example for the future councils, and I really hope I do that uh, after winning the election.
Okay, that's a nice intro. So, I mean, what is your evaluation of the last year's council? Like maybe to positive side of their work and few of their shortcomings.
So I wrote a whole article about this. So let me brief that into about a minute. So they did a lot of good things. I remember a lot of good things. I remember a lot of consultation that happened in the first half of their uh, proceedings, especially in the first few months. They sort of made sure that we were evaluated fairly for the semester that got cut in half, and then they planned the next semester. And it was the first time that any elected representative from the students was sent to the Senate. Before that, that was not the case, even though it is mandated by the institutes, like bylaws, legally in a stamp paper. That was never followed. So right now that is being followed, and I hear that the medical committees single helpline was also brought about by the idea of a council, and I hear that the dining plan was made by the council, and I hear that the food was tested by the council members during quarantine period, and especially there was this relaxation of 12 credits, which just blew my mind because that was something that many people really needed at that point, and those were good things that the council did. Unfortunately, what they did not do was tell us they did these things. And it was quite at one point it was like, can we feel distant from the council, and that sort of distance was created like after their 3 or 4 months. So they released the website and all of that, but then after that they stopped updating, stopped sending us minutes from the Senate, so stopped. So that essential goal of transparency was set aside, but they did things that were over and beyond what the essential is. So they did it's quite paradoxical to evaluate them. So I don't believe in giving them a number, but if they did it quite transparently, and if they were accountable, I think it would have been much better, and that's exactly what I want to achieve this year. uh,
So, what is your plan of introducing transparency and accountability?
so first of all, I'm going to follow the constitution, because It has to be followed sometime, and I think now is the right time. And one of the cleanest goals written in the preamble is transparency. And for that, I will first do what the Constitution mandates, that is to keep town halls periodically, update website periodically, make sure that the minutes of council meeting, senate meeting, all meetings reach the student body, and make sure that we get opinion from the student body every issue. Last year they did that for grading and all of that, but then later in the later half we don't know how they decided something without creating a survey. So I think we should begin to survey the whole IISER populace before we take any decision. So I want two-way accountability and two-way communication, not just one way. And the council cannot just keep speaking to the admin and not speak to the students. So uh, we are a student body, so first we should speak to the students and only then to the admin.
Right. Okay, so another thing is COVID-19 related question.
Right.
So the previous council, when they fought the election, they signed up for the election, and formed the council. The
Mhm.
pandemic was not around, and then
Right.
the pandemic rolled, and even like we had an article in Kalpa, which clearly from an elected member who clearly said that a lot of things in the, especially in the second half, got derailed because of the lack of communication, the
Right.
online mode, etc.
Right.
But you are fighting the election in the pandemic, and
Yeah.
you're supposed to be prepared that you'll be working in pandemic. So what's your plan of getting things done
So
inside?
firstly, yeah, the last council was affected by the pandemic. I mean, not just the last council, the whole human society was affected, and we are fortunate to say that the council did not work properly, because a lot of them in IISER were affected by, like, first hand affected by the pandemic. Some of them even had to face loss. So we can't accuse the council of doing not doing anything. But what I think should this year is, well, personally, I don't believe in the word getting used to, but well, that's what we are right now. We have gotten used to, but then there is a specific need that the pandemic gives to the council. There is a specific, a specific set of demands that the pandemic response puts to the council. So, like right now, people surely want to come back to campus, but who will plan that? Like, once we get permissions, we need to sit and plan this, and we can't just let the admin plan it, because ultimately it's students coming back. So we want student involvement in this. So I think we're not doing it despite the pandemic, we're doing it for the pandemic. And given that, I think now we'll have to address like pandemic oriented questions or pandemic oriented problems of the students, and only then move on to other issues like washing machine or hot water, things like that.
Okay, so washing machine and hot water brings me to my final question. So what I mean, we understand that it's a lot about getting things running and getting things done. But what's your specific agenda? Like what are some specific things that you want to get done? I mean, maybe name two or three things.
Oh, well, I have a huge list of things. So it's pretty much a laundry list. So yeah, certainly I want to ensure transparency, and for that I want to ensure transparency not just from the council but as well as from the admin, because there is a lot of confusion, right? For people wanting to come back, for people wanting to know how the grades are determined. So we will release two white papers, one on whatever the council did last year, and one on what are the constraints in bringing students back. For example, we need to know that this permission for us to sit in the campus and for the others not to sit in the campus is because the chief minister allowed only research activities on campus. So this is not known to everybody. So we will release a clear white paper on what the constraints are in bringing them back, so that they at least know, even if they are not here or even if they can't come back in the earliest possible duration. And another thing we want to do is sort of streamline some procedures. So there is this finance committee that is supposed to uh, pay subsistence to some underprivileged students, and we want to streamline all of that. And certainly first we'll have to ensure that the council works properly. So we'll have to open up the council and ensure that these town halls happen once in 2 weeks, I'm sorry, once in 2 months, or whenever the need arises. And yeah, but there's a huge list of things. I hope you read my manifesto, or I will put up a, my plan is to put up a live manifesto, and I will update it once in about 30 or 40 minutes, depending on. So I've sent out a Google document for people to upload their issues, and the URL is bit.do/Abilash, Abilash, for GS, and I want you all to put in your issues, and they will end up in my manifesto in some or the other manner. So I have a huge laundry list of things to achieve in the upcoming council.
Okay, thanks a lot, Avilash. We'll make sure that this link goes in the description of the YouTube video,
Thanks, Sagnik. Thank you.
and we hope that you have a happy election and a productive council
Thank
as
you.
a collective. Okay, thanks
Thanks,
a lot.
Sagnik.
Uh,
Bye bye.